What's going on, guys? This is Aaron here with Yugioh, and today we're going to show you a deck profile here. Going to be a series I'm going to try to do where I show you a deck profile of the decks that I have that would be considered casual. By that I mean non-competitive, like non-meta. Most people wouldn't recommend you take it to any sort of competitive format or event. Of course, I believe that anybody can take whatever they want. Some people would disagree, saying that if you want to go to win, you need to play meta. But you know, you can always take whatever you want. This profile matches, of course, my game mat here. I am a big fan of the Gishki archetype. I was not around, or I had a hiatus during the time that these were prevalent, which I'm kind of disappointed because I would have loved to have played these during the time they were at their peak. And then was never a big fan of Necros, and going through some old spares at my friend's house, I was really fascinated with the artwork, and then I played some of the Yu-Gi-Oh games on the PlayStation 4, and started really trying to like the deck, and I got my ass kicked a lot in the challenge duels. Mako Tsunami on his challenge duel used this, not this exact one I'm showing you, but a Gishki deck, and it showed me the potential. So, just even though this is what would consider to be casual, I try to make it as competitive as possible. This is definitely wouldn't really be considered meta because it's not as consistent as like Pendulum Magicians, nowhere near as consistent, but it's definitely a turn 2 deck. You can't really do a whole lot turn 1, but let's go ahead and get started. For the ritual monsters, I only run 3 ritual monsters in this deck, and that are 3 Zeal Gigas. The boss monster of the deck, I only run 3 of him because the way I play this deck, he is part of the win condition. There is an OTK that you can do with this deck, and I just think he's pretty good because 3200 body. His effect is pretty good. Once per turn, you can pay 1,000 life points, draw the top card of your deck. If it's a Gishki monster, you can shuffle 1 card from the field back to the deck of whoever is the owner, and non-target removal, very good, and you can turbo this guy up pretty good. And he makes good rank 10s. So that's your. Then of course you're gonna need 3 Gishki Visions and 3 Gishki Shadows. This deck would not be playable at any sort of competitive level if these cards were ever limited or banned. These are the bread and butter of the deck. Vision is a searcher. You reveal it, discard it from your hand. Searches out a Gishki ritual monster. Shadow, you reveal it, discard it, send it to the graveyard, and you get to retrieve a Gishki ritual spell card. And the good thing about both of these, they count as an entire tribute for a Gishki ritual monster. So all you need is really the ritual card. I mean, if you have this card, one of this, and one of this in your opening hand, automatic that. I mean, there's no two ways about that. Alright, then you're going to want 3 Gishki Abyss. He is a really good search card. Whenever he summons, so by normal or special means, he searches a Gishki card from your deck, Gishki monster. So you can get Shadow, Vision, or any of your ritual monsters. He's a level 2, so you can do rank 2s if you'd like. Pretty good staple. Definitely run 3 of that. Then of course we have 3 Gishki Beast. The way I play this deck is you don't really do very much. There's not a whole lot of commitment to the normal summon. Abyss, you can be normal summoned, but he also can be special summoned to get his effect off. a Gishki Beast, you have to normal summon him to get his effect off. You get a Shadow in the graveyard. Just normal summon this. This gets any Gishki monster level 4 or lower from the graveyard back on the field. And then you can do you can link summon the Mistar Boy or do a rank 4 summon. Gishki Beast is good for that. This is very subjective. I used to not like this card at all, but I run 3 Gishki Vanity simply because he's sort of like an old school hand trap, kinda like the way he works kind of resembles that. For instance, if you just reveal him and discard him to the graveyard, your opponent cannot activate any card effects in response to the summoning of a Gishki Ritual monster or the activation of a Gishki Ritual spell. So they can't Solemn Strike or Bottomless Trap Hole the summoning of, like, let's say Zelgigas. Plus he's ranked, he's level 2, so he could possibly be used for a rank 2 play, and he's water, so that, of course, that's why you run. Some people may not run 3, but the friends I duel with, they use a lot of summon negation, and Zelgigas does not really have his own protection against that, so this is where he comes in. Okay, so that's really the 3 ofs for the Gishki monsters. I play 1 Gishki Natalia. She's a spirit level 4. The reason I play her is she's one of the other ones that really you have to normal summon because of her spirit condition. But when you normal summon her, you can you can actually target 1 Gishki monster in your graveyard and add it to the top of your deck. Now the reason why that's so good is because Zelgigas has, like I said, has his effect. You pay 1,000, draw the top card of your deck. It's a Gishki card, you can shuffle 1 card from the field to the deck. That means if you haven't used Zelgigas' effect yet and you normal summon her, you can send one of the materials, maybe a Vision or a Shadow, to the top of your deck. Pay 1,000, draw that Vision or Shadow, and that's an automatic spin back to the deck on one of your opponent's cards. Of course, it returns to the hand. It's a spirit, so you can always reuse it the next turn. Another spirit card, Gishki Amelia. I like her because, like I said, some of my friends, the decks they play use a lot of trap cards, and that's why she's in this deck, because if you summon her while you control a Gishki card, your opponent cannot, all trap cards are negated on the field. So if your opponent doesn't have a monster and you have a Zelgigas or something to attack and you're worried, just normal, and you haven't normal summoned yet, normal summon her out, and they can't activate any traps to stop you for that. So that was all the Gishki monsters that I run. Here are the other monsters that I run. I run 1 Barrier Statue of the Torrent. You have to normal, you can normal or special summon that. Pretty good because all you're really playing are waters in this deck, and as long as this card's on the field, opponent can't special summon monsters unless they're water type. I only run 1 because this is sort of like a tech card. It's not really prominent to your win condition, but it was a nice little tech card. I wish I had 3 of these, but I only have 1. Beautiful Princess. This is a great card because if you had 1 for 1, you could summon this card out from your deck, and then you would banish this card, and then it would special summon a fish or sea serpent type monster. So you would special summon Abyss, and then Abyss would get a search for a Gishki monster. Pretty good card. I wish I had 3 of them, but unfortunately I have 1. But very good card to help out a hand if you don't. If you have 1 for 1 and you need a search. And then the last 2 monsters I run in my deck, I run a mini Kaiju engine, Gamma Seal, the Sea Turtle Kaiju. Good way to get over cards. Pretty much can get over anything, almost. I'm sure if your opponent's playing a Vanity Fiend, you're fucked. But yeah, Gamma Seal is great because I like to Kaiju over one of my opponent's cards, play Zelgigas, call it right, get 1,000 life points deducted, draw the Gishki card, and then shuffle the Gamecill back to my deck. So I get a resource back to my deck, not my hand, but comes back. So I get rid of their card, and then Gamecill comes back to my deck, and I may end up drawing it in the next turn or next turn or so because I go to shuffle my deck. Plus, it's a water target. Moray agreed that I will run in this deck, and it's level 8. So if you don't have Shadow or Vision in your hand, and you have a level 2 like a Vanity or an Abyss, and you want a Ritual Summon, that's good with the level 2s. So there you go. So that's the monster lineup. Then the spell lineup: 3 Gishki Aquamir. Definitely, this is a card that you definitely need in this deck. There's a couple other variations of the Gishki Ritual spell. I don't really like them because they're very conditional. This is just plain and simple. And I may only have 3, but the way this deck recycles itself and the abilities it can, you can have as many of these technically as you want, because if you play the right way and you recycle your cards in the right way, you could basically have multiple copies. These 3 could go to, there basically be more than 3 copies the way you play it. So yeah, definitely this helps you summon a Gishki Ritual monster, of course. I play 1 Contact with the Aquamir. It's a good card to play if you're trying to use Zelgigas' effect, because he's a Ritual Water monster, so you get to look at the set cards your opponent controls, and plus you can rearrange the top 2 cards of your deck or your opponent's if you want to see what your opponent's going to be drawing to manipulate that, or if you want to make sure there's a Gishki monster on the top of your deck to successfully pull off Zelgigas' effect. That'll work. And there's Salvage. Run 3 Salvage. That's a definite must in this deck because just the length of the turns that you can pull off with this card, especially if you have this in your hand with a Shadow and a Vision. Send them to the graveyard, get the Gishki Ritual monster and the Gishki spell card, play Salvage. You got them back into your hand. You can extend the combo pretty good, especially if you have more than 1 Salvage in your hand and those other cards. Definitely worth running these 3. I love opening up with this on my first turn, going second or whatever. Good revival card. Good, get your resources back. I run 2 Moray of Greed, since pretty much all my monsters are water. This is a +1. You shuffle 2 water monsters from your hand into the deck, and then you draw 3 cards. Sometimes your hands could be bricky, or there's some resources that you don't have that you want to get and that you want to send back to the deck. Like if you had a Beautiful Princess in your hand, and you had a 1-for-1, that's kind of useless. It's kind of a dead combo then. So if you played that, you could send that Beautiful Princess and another water monster to your deck, and then draw 3 cards. Very handy, very good to unclog a hand. Surface. It's a good target for a level 3 or lower fish or sea serpent, so good for an Abyss to get it out. I mostly use this to try to revive an Abyss, or something that I can use for a link, maybe for Mr. Boy, and play 1 Water Hazard. If you open it, it's a good way to special summon to get back the normal summon, and also it's an easy way to special summon out your barrier statue if it happens to be with that. 1 Sea Lord's Amulet. It's good protection for your water monsters. They can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. They can be targeted, but they can't be destroyed. And then, because I have Mound of the Bound Creator, because Zelgigas, of course, is level 10. This card protects level 10 monsters from being targeted and destroyed by card effect. And if he was to destroy a monster my opponent controls, that's an extra 1,000 damage. Pretty useful field spell. Not necessarily required, that's why I only run 1. And then, of course, we have 1-for-1. That's the card to bring out Beautiful Princess, because she's level 1, of course. So, and then I only run Run Trap. I used to not run any traps, but I run the one Solemn Strike, and the only reason I run it, because of how good it is plus it takes 1,500 life points away from you, which in this deck, having lower life points than your opponent could be advantageous. So that was the main deck. Here's what's in my extra deck. I play one copy of Miss Starboy. This, of course, deck's not really optimal for links, but it is fairly easy to get a Miss Starboy out, and you can get 2 extra deck monsters, preferably used for the Bahamut Shark and the Totally Awesome play that I run. I run 1 Bahamut Shark and 1 Totally Awesome. I use the 2 level 4s like a Beast and a Shadow. Bring out Bahamut Shark, detach, bring out Totally Awesome. Then, of course, we have number 37 Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark. Actually, I run 2 of them. Very useful card. I love it. It's rank 4, and you can detach and during either player's turn during a battle, and all your opponent's monsters will lose 1,000 attack. And he's got 2,600 body, which is it's pretty good enough. But if you can, that's like that's good to win a battle. I've surprised my friends many a times with a surprise detach from that, and it's pretty helpful. I run just 1 Gishki Marrowgeist. I don't really play it. Honestly, it's probably in here because it shuffles once you I've really never really played it, summoned it, so I keep forgetting its effect. But you detach an Xyz material from this card after you destroy opponent's monster, and then shuffle the destroyed monster back in the deck. So that's actually pretty good. As far as a lot of cards now that like to hit the graveyard, but if you destroy it, it's shuffled. So that's pretty good. I run some of the rail cards. I run 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Super Dora. Pretty good card. Detach, and then you can choose 1 card and make it unaffected by your opponent's card effects. Good 4K defense. I never really played it too much, but it is good to have. Number 35 Ravenous Tarantula. That's where 2 of your Zelgigas can be used to make that. And because of the 1,000 point cost of Zelgigas' effect, and having life points lower than your opponent's advantageous, because this card gains attack points equal to the difference between your life points and your opponent's. Not only that, all your other monsters too. I've had Gishki Abysses on the field with 4,800 attack before, and it's pretty good. You could detach 1 card from this, detach 1 material and destroy all monsters your opponent control with attack less than or equal to Tarantula's attack. So if your life points are way lower than your opponent's and you detach, you can pretty much board wipe their field. And then, of course, you can rank this up into number 77, the 7 Sins. If you do it this way, of course, you can't activate its inherent effect as soon as the turn it's summoned. But if it was to be destroyed, you could attach a material and save it. And then, of course, when you are able to use this effect, detach 2 material, I think, and then it just banish all special summon monsters. Very good 4K attack. Pretty good rank up from the Ravenous Tarantula. And then, of course, I mentioned the wind condition earlier. There is an ultimate OTK wind condition in this deck, and it revolves around Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. For example, if you had 2 Zelgigas and you use their non-target removal effect, and you got rid of maybe all of your opponent's monsters or all of the problem cards that are problematic to where your opponent can't do anything, you attack with both Zelgigas. Then you would go to your main phase 2 overlay and bring this out. Detach 1 of the Zelgigas, and this monster's effect states if you detach a material, you inflict 2,000 points of damage to your opponent. Both Zolgigus' attacks going to take 6,400 away from your opponent, and then leaving them with 1,600. And then this, of course, takes 2,000. That's game. So there is an OTK with this deck. This is part of the Wink Edition. I love this card. I've won plenty of duels against my friends using this. It's a pretty good combo with Zolgigus. But yes, this is my Gishki Deck profile. If you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm more than open to reading and understanding. And thank you. I'm hoping to have more of these deck profiles here pretty soon. As for me, this is Aaron with Yugioh, and I'll see you guys next time.